Welcome to Life Calcs. This is video number 3, and this is the concluding video where I'd like to address kind of the highlights of Life Calcs and why it exists. Life Calcs, I believe, is imperative in our industry nowadays so that we are able to bring added value to us as agents and also do accurate accounting. Life Calcs, after you've logged in, gives you the ability to do calculations as in video 1 and 2 shows and in the training video. But in this video, it's important for, I believe it's important for us to act in behalf of our clients. And in doing so, being able to call up the clients and being able to, and we're going to want to edit there so that we have alpha going on and open up alpha, and being able to recall that client back up and review review the needs of the client at any point in time is imperative. I think for compliance and due diligence that the industry is going to mandate this. I would hope that someday they do, because our ability to bring added value and hold ourselves out as advisors is very important. All the 3 sections here in the calculator are designed to make it very transparent so that the client can see what's going on. And the client has a takeaway that they can point to. And also, I'm going to reemphasize the inflation factor. Many people say, well, what about inflation? Well, what about inflation? Inflation is and can happen. However, if the client died today, inflation's not an item. And if he died today, then we need to be able to keep his family in their current world, which is designated here as $60,000 world. If inflation happens, then we need to be able to calculate the impacts on not only the money that we're trying to grow, but on the money that we've got stashed elsewhere. And so if we're going to put inflation factors, we got to put them in a number of places, which makes it unreasonable. And in my mind, when you add inflation factors to anything, especially with life insurance, you're just trying to there's an attempt to inflate the need, and the need is, can we keep his family in their world? We need to add value as agents. This is an education platform that we have here, that we can sit our clients down and address keeping them in their world, address how Social Security works, address getting a will so everything transfers appropriately, address what's going on in the world as far as finances go, and why we can or cannot earn X amount of dollars, and those assumptions, how realistic the assumptions are around being able to earn monies, the ability for the spouse to return to the employment world in the event that they use all the Social Security money, and then you're in the blackout period, and whether they're going to utilize the blackout period or not, and what are the spouse's options, the surviving spouse's options regarding blackout or not using those blackout dollars. Itemizing the life insurance and where does the life insurance set, and advising them on beneficiary arrangements and the difference between the group term, and if they ever left employment, that they cannot take that group term with them, and they might want to have personal term that is a greater amount so that they are not subject to that decrease. Buying term insurance that's convertible and having all the dialogue around that. Dialoguing about retirement plans and how they function in the event of death, and they might have taxation impacts. And then also how you want to use other assets, especially dialoguing about the home and the fact that they're living in the home, and if it's paid off and they have to replace it, that typically we don't use that as an asset to offset costs, because they would probably have to, just if they sold the home, replace the home in some fashion, which is just a wash of asset in order to take care of the housing of the family. So all that dialogue that gets done during the time is advisory. By having this dialogue, this is an educational platform with the client and advising them, and whenever they bring up objections, you can go specifically to certain areas that they're talking about, answer those questions, and address how they work and maybe do not work as assumed by the client and the industry. This gives you dialogue to set goals and overcome perceptions. The day of the yellow pad planning is over. We are liable for these numbers. There are court cases out there where clients have said, hey, I met with a professional and my spouse died and I'm not able to stay in my world. And guess who's going to get named in those kind of situations in litigation? The desired income is something to always dialogue with the client about, that as far as what they're living on. But that's our goal, is to keep them in the desired world of their choice. Brokerage firms for securities are requiring compliance. Heavy compliance is there, and our industry could come under, and I predict that our industry will come under heavy compliance if we don't start doing things like this to make it very transparent on how we're coming to our conclusion of our numbers. Many agents do a very good job of this. Some agents do a very poor job in this. Most agents are not doing their job. And many brokerage firms are wishing that agents would bring added value. This tool gives you the tool to be able to add value to your advice. You as a professional advisor understand these things, and if you don't, this gives you the ability to get educated on it and use this tool. Again, you can sit down for 15 minutes. Sounds like Geico, but it's not. You can sit down for 15 minutes and come to a ballpark which is within 90 to 95% accurate, and be able to advise the client as to, am I short, am I long, am I okay, am I not, and how are my assets owned, how do I have a will it appropriate to take care of my family. Advise on all these aspects, how the mortgage is set up, advise on all these aspects on how best to manage their going forward needs, and be able to satisfy those. You now have added a whole lot of advantage. You've acted as a fiduciary and you've done your due diligence. You've added value. Welcome to Life Calcs, where you can do all those things, add value, and hold yourself out as a professional. Thank you. Come subscribe.